Hi Gemini, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your May 2020 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also to subscribe to my channel. Now, before I dive into this reading, I want to say that the impact of this moon will last from full moon to full moon, so from May 7th to June 5th. And I have the full moon laid out right here for you, which I'm going to go into in just a little bit. But I'm going to move aside your Moonology cards and your Queen of the Moon cards, which are going to be layered on top of your tarot at the end to really give Luna a voice of her own, to really see how the moon will impact you in what the tarot is saying. So angel and spirit guide message for Gemini. How will Gemini be affected by the May 2020 full moon? And I always, of course, contact your angels and your spirit guides when I do this. How will Gemini be affected by the May 2020 full moon? How will Gemini be affected by the May 2020 full moon? How will Gemini be affected by the May 2020 full moon? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. All right. So at the center of everything, we have the Page of Cups. So the full moon is in Scorpio, so you are going to be greatly impacted by the Scorpio energy here, but you're also going to be learning a lot. You're crowned by the Five of Swords. Then we have the High Priestess, the Six of Cups, the Queen of Cups. I love at your root, at your heart, you're like a child. At your root, you are a queen, an adult, a very powerful person. Eight of Swords, the World. Okay, let me just move my camera back just a little bit for you. Okay. There we go. You have the Two of Wands, the Six of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Destiny, the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. So this is a very powerful moon for you. Now, the full moon, of course, is always very powerful. Here in the Queen of the Moon cards and the Moonology cards, they represent the moon as power and a surrender to the divine. So both of these elements are astoundingly powerful. And here, with you really channeling the Scorpio energy that is around you, but also really channeling your emotional understanding and what you desire, you're going to see that you do a shift here from what has been holding you back and what has been keeping you from entering into the next stage of your life. And you have a repeat of the number 6 here before you become the Queen of Cups. So the repeat of the number 6 talks about caring, talks about nurturing, and then you have the High Priestess. So here, and you have a repeat of the number 2, heightened creativity. There is a sense of communication being highly important to you and needing to develop and evolve in a way that sings to your soul. You're not going to feel comfortable during this time being held back. You're really going to be looking at what you desire, what you need. Are you on the right path? Do you need to make changes to the direction that you're heading or what you truly desire? And here you will have the power and you will have this divine connection to your angels, to your spirit guides, to divinity, to really move yourself forward. And as you do so, okay, we have the supermoon power coming into play. Now, this is the last supermoon in a series of 4 supermoons. Now, the supermoon makes emotions run high. Also, during this moon, this Scorpio full moon, you're going to see that emotions run high anyway. This is a highly compassionate, highly emotional moon. So here, with emotions now even being amplified more, just be mindful of how deeply you are falling into your emotions. And as the really positive emotions can be amplified and will be amplified, also the negative emotions will be amplified and can become just the series of your world. So we're always looking towards joy and happiness and love and prosperity and living in the light, right? But the moon also here brings up the emotions that we're not supposed to have. We're not supposed to be jealous. We're not supposed to be overwhelmed. We're not supposed to be angry. We're not supposed to be tired. We're not supposed to be fed up. But those emotions will also be coming to the surface. And so with emotions running high, give each emotion the due that it deserves, because you're going to be attracting to yourself what you need. It may not be what you want, and it usually isn't what you want, but it's what you need at the time. Now, sometimes it is what you want, but it comes in a kind of backhanded way. I see it during this time where you're going to be looking at things and thinking, oh, this is going to be the best way to do it. This is going to get me forward exactly the way that I want to. And then you're going to see the change and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, okay. Now I see where I have to tweak things, where I have to look at things differently, and how I can move forward in balance and in harmony. The two sides of you, Gemini, are going to be coming out in force during this time. You know, you are represented by the twins. So you'll have one twin come out, and it's going to be kind of like the good twin or the bad twin, or the rebel twin and the more kind of conservative twin coming forward. So you're going to see two sides of yourself really powerfully during this time, embracing both sides of your emotion. And as you do so, okay, and as you embrace this, as you sit there and you say, well, this is who I am and this is what I want, and you're not ashamed. So here, even if, let's say, you wind up just getting really angry, you don't know why, you're just tired, it's been a long day, everything has been overwhelming, or you just hit a switch and you've hit a wall and you become angry, you become overwhelmed. Don't sit there and say, oh, that was wrong of me, I shouldn't have felt that way. Let yourself have that emotion, because this is also a time where you connect with the sacred darkness. It's not that you go off into a tyrant, you become a tyrant or you go off into a tirade. You say, I'm allowed to feel the way I need to feel at this time. Because what you're doing is you're blossoming with this full moon. This full moon is the flower full moon, which I think is so gorgeous. And you are blossoming to where you need to be. The color also of this full moon is green. The planet is Venus. Love, passion, growth, being in kind of a safe place and also being loved is going to be so very important. This is also a moon that heightens sexual energy, the creative energy of birth, of death, of rebirth, of the power of yourself. And you're going to see that during this time, this moon, with its compassion, with its intense emotion, shines a light on things that are hidden within your psyche, things that you might be repressing, things that you might think, again, oh no, I can't walk that road. You can. And as you embrace the sacred darkness, you also embrace the sacred light. And you're going to see the beauty that resides around you and that is a part of you. And as you embrace this beauty, and as you embrace the two aspects of yourself, so it's kind of like being a king, right? Here, most definitely for you, it's being a queen. And it's knowing that you can be benevolent, most definitely, but you also can be tyrannical in your rule. And during this time with the full moon, it says it's time to release the negativity. So as you release the negativity of yourself, and as you sit there and say, I give that tyrannical ruler credence and power, and I kind of bow my head in respect to you, because that's going to be a part of me that I channel to get things done, to move forward. It's not being tyrannical like Ivan the Terrible. It's, just sitting there and maybe being a bit of a more of a taskmaster to yourself, because you're going to see during this time here, Gemini, it's going to be a time where you kind of rely on a schedule. You rely on certainties. And by creating those certainties for yourself, you blossom into your power and into the depth of what you need. And as we move forward, okay, so this is the full moon that is on the 7th of May. And as we move forward to the 22nd of May, this is where the new moon is. Also, during this full moon, do not do the full moon in May 7th, do not do anything at 10:39, okay, p.m. That is going to be a time where things just don't go right. It's the void of course, so things aren't going to go the way that you had planned, the way that you thought. So during that time, kind of step back. If you can block out the whole entire hour, that would be amazing. Just 10 o'clock, don't do anything. You could even go kind of into 11:15. That would be also really good, where you just sit there and say, I know things are going to go topsy-turvy if I try to really focus my energy, my time during that time. This would be a great time. It's 10:39. You can curl up with a cup of tea, read a book, watch something on TV before getting ready to go to bed. You would actually find that to be the most prosperous way to move forward. If you have deadlines that need to be met or you have things that need to be done, just step back a little bit and either try to get them done before that time or say, you know what, I'll do it tomorrow. Because you're even going to find tasks. I'm just seeing like folding the clothes and putting everything away. You're even going to find that things don't go the way that you had planned. and you're going to have little annoyances come up. And now during the new moon, the void, of course, is at 4:01 a.m. So again, if you just kind of, I would do actually from 3:30 a.m. to 4:30, or you can go all the way to 5, just don't do anything during that time. If you're asleep, that's fantastic. And Spirit is just saying here, be mindful of your dreams during this time, because it's going to give you a warning as to how things may go pear-shaped during the day in a certain way, okay? Or how you were looking at something wrong and it gives you light and clarity. But the new moon brings about beginnings, and it says a new start is coming. And the new moon is in Taurus, and so this says prosperity lies ahead. You're going to see new beginnings to your prosperity. You're going to see a new way of looking at things, new power that you have, kind of a shedding of the old skin, an embrace of what you truly want. You're going to see yourself walking in the winter and in the summer. There's going to be a time of extremes for you. And you know what? You're actually really okay with that. And it is beautiful. The extremes are beautiful for you, but also your handling of these extremes are beautiful. And this leads you to the full moon in June, which is a Sagittarius full moon. And it says, look at the big picture. Look at the big picture of what you want. You're also going to see that because Sagittarius is your sister sign, Gemini, that as you step into June, which is also, a Gemini month, you are going to see yourself looking at your power, looking at communication, looking at a deeper way of connecting. Now, this moon is called, the name I love the most for it is the full rose moon. And I just think that's so pretty. But it's also called the strawberry moon if you look at it in the almanac. If you look at it here, it's called the hot moon. So it does call upon extremes. And since with the Scorpio moon, it calls upon kind of extremes of emotions or channeling emotional understanding that has been held back, just know that some of those extremes are going to come about in June, follow you into June, which is going to bring an intensity to the duality of you that you might not have realized or you may not even want. So just be prepared for that. You're going to actually want a very calm, easy time, especially with the state of the world the way that it's been. You're going to want things to be calm, to be stable, to be steady. And with the extremes that are coming at you, Gemini, you might think, well, this is betraying me. This is betraying what I want. But it's actually elevating you to a point where you start to see that there's so much to you than you thought, that there's so much more that you are achieving and succeeding at. Now, you have another 6 here. All right, so you have, and another 2. Oh, wow, that's really funny because you have 2 2s and 2 6s. So this is telling me that your spirit animals for this time are going to be very important to you. They're the beaver and they're the elk, but I don't have an elk in my deck. So the antelope is stepping in for the elk. Now the beaver represents ingenuity, it represents persistence, and it represents achievement. And this says here, lay a solid foundation. You're going to find that during this full moon and during this time, from the 7th to the 5th of June, you are really going to be looking at your foundational self. And you're going to be looking at any cracks in the mortar of your foundation, in the cement. You're really going to be sitting there and saying, do I need to rebuild altogether? Is this something, kind of like, how have I built a house upon stand? Do I have to sit there and say, well, I have to move because a house upon stand that isn't on stilts is not going to work. And even then things shift. Not a builder, so I don't know exactly. But there is this sense here of really looking at the foundation that you're laying for your life and needing it to be just, needing it to be true, and needing it to be powerfully relevant to you. And that's why you have to embrace the 2 sides of yourself, the dark and the light, the kind, benevolent ruler, and the person who will sit there and say, no, it has to be like this, it has to be done like that, and this has to be done. The stricter, the sterner, who can become tyrannical because of being so intensely focused on rules and timelines and things like that. Now, it moves you to the Elk Spirit, which is strength and stamina, endurance, and patience in your relationships. And here, with the antelope standing in, I love the saying at the bottom, it says, life is speeding up. You start to see your life, yourself, your passion speeding up as you are looking at your foundational self. And here, this is really with love and kindness. If you look at your foundational self and say, God, what an idiot am I? I can't believe I thought this was good or I thought that was good. You're going to do more damage because it's going to wound you. It's going to play off of wounds that you already carry with you and that here you're emotionally evolving from. All right? And with the 2, this is saying that as you move forward, communication is going to be key. It's not simply going to be talking. It is also going to be listening. It's going to be looking at your life path, what you desire, what you need, and it's going to be moving forward. And it's going to be compassion with your listening and true communication with your angels, with yourself, as you evolve. Now, this leads you to the spirit animals of June. And the June spirit animals are absolutely beautiful. They're the deer and the eagle. And the deer says here, bring a gentle touch. Because there's a gentility to you, but there's not a defenselessness. It's kind of like, I remember one time I walked out of my house once, and there was a deer standing there in the garden. And I looked at her, and she looked at me, and I never knew a deer got to be so big in my whole entire life. I was like, oh my goodness. Because they're not defenseless. If they kick you, my goodness, that's intense. So here, with the deer spirit, you're going to see that gentleness and a gentility to life. You're going to be kind of reminiscing about days of old where things were gentler. Of course, you're only looking at the positive side and not the seedy underbelly of things. So it's not being caught up in romanticism. It's also going to be something to be worried about. Not worried about, but warned against. You are also seeing that you are strong and brave when you need to be. But you're also seeing that you walk away when you realize that it's not relevant. It's not relevant. It's not going to help you if you stand and you fight a battle. Okay? Bringing forth the deer spirit also brings forth your natural beauty and, to a degree, your innocence is really being called forth at this time. And that's why you have the Page of Cups. This is going to be very important to you, to have this innocence, to have this connection with your childlike self. And then this leads you to the eagle. And it says here, Spirit has your back. Spirit most definitely has your back. You have this beautiful connection to divinity, to your angels, to your spirit guides, but also the eagle, all right, flies the highest of any bird. So you have this connection to the divine with being able to soar to new heights. There's also freedom and courage to you that you are looking at within yourself, and you're redefining what you see as freedom, what you see as courage, what you want and are calling within your life as you look ahead. And you're also really noting the power of honesty and thoughtfulness. And that's going to mean a lot to you during this time. And as you are moving forward, you have here the Page of Cups and the 6 of Pentacles. So the Page of Cups, and I love these 2 cups anointing her. So you're really going to feel anointed by love, but also anointed by your Gemini mentality of life, but also the power that comes to you from being a Gemini. You are looking at your emotional truth, you're looking at what you desire, you are really connecting with the full moon in Scorpio. You're going to find that this is a much more emotional moon than you had thought. The 2 cups before you that are kind of like pouring benediction onto you, pouring blessings onto you, is the 2 of Cups. So the 2 of Cups is love. The 2 of Cups is the Minor Arcana Lover's card, which is you represented in the Minor Arcana. And you are going to see that as you embrace with innocence and with joy what you desire, you start to balance the scale by embracing the transformation of this moon. This moon is all about profound and the opportunity. It doesn't mean you have to seize it, but it's the opportunity for profound personal transformation through compassion. And again, just like with the butterflies, as I always say, butterflies are beautiful jewels in the sky and beautiful jewels upon flowers and just lovely. But they're also attracted to dead things, and they will congregate around them. They will just swarm around a rotting corpse. And so here, you're going to find that yes, it's beautiful, but there's also an ugly side. And so don't romanticize anything. Be very open, be very honest with yourself during this time, because that's going to lead you forward in your greatest truth and in your greatest power. The 5 of Swords. At times you're going to feel defeated. At times you're going to think, I should be nicer, I should be more compassionate, I should look at this and be more. You're going to want yourself to be more, or saying, I should have handled this differently. And you're going to really look within your mind and say this to yourself. Now, with the 5 of Swords, This is also not apologizing for where you are in your life. Even if you feel just alone and overwhelmed, it's sitting there and saying, I'm on this journey. And even though this is not where I want to be and this is not where I'm staying, I respect where I am right now. Even though I might never want to be here again. Or you might say, but I love where I am right now. I love what I'm doing, right? And then it's not apologizing for being successful or being downtrodden. It's saying, I am moving forward. And I'm doing so with dignity and respect. And you're going to have people come into your life during this time who are going to try and manipulate you emotionally and mentally, right? Make you question the way that you're moving forward, what you desire, what you want, everything like that. With the Five of Swords, stand your ground. Even if you don't feel like a winner, if you stand your ground, you know what it is that you want, you know where it is that you're heading, you win. And you might say, Dane, I don't know where I'm heading. And that's okay. That really is. We tend to think we have to have this clear cut image of what we want. But what I've seen more and more is that it's not having this plan and sticking to it, militantly, like I have to do it like this, like this, like this, to get to where it is that I've decided I want to be. It's saying, I've learned what I don't want. I've learned what is not right for me. And now I'm going to start leaning towards what makes me feel happier, what makes me feel more contented. What Joseph Campbell said when he said, follow your bliss. It wasn't that you had to be happy every moment of every day. That's unrealistic. Even if you had your utopia, what did Dostoevsky say? What is it, the bubbles of happiness? We'd pop them all. We'd pop our utopias almost instantaneously. And with the Five of Swords, it's kind of knowing that. And it's knowing the nitty-gritty of life. And it's saying, but I still stand strong. I still move forward. And I'm not going to apologize because in medieval times, because in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, you see this as a person defeating another person. You're like, well, why are they being mean? And that's our modern take on it. In medieval times, you would lay waste to your enemy so there couldn't be a blood feud. You would take what was yours and you would say, I claim it, it's mine. And that's what you're doing here. You're not destroying and sowing the fields with salt. You're saying, but I stand in my power and I'm knowing my truth. And I'm knowing my truth through the disappointments I've been through. And this leads you to the Two of Wands. This leads you to passion. This leads you to looking towards your future and seeing that you can move forward in a way that you hadn't anticipated, that you might have thought was wrong, that you thought, oh, everybody's going to judge me for this. No. Now you're looking at what you desire, what you need, what you want, what's calling to your soul. And you start to see yourself moving towards a greater light, a greater power. This would be a fantastic time. I know I talk about it a lot, but talking with your angels, talking with your spirit guides, really connecting to understand and to work things out, you're going to find that wisdom comes your way. And you can have an angel journal, most definitely. You can also, have a conversation. I was going to say, what is it? You can talk into a microphone, you can record your conversations, but you could just have conversations with your angels that move you forward. And you're going to see that really does help you, because you're going to see that what awaits you is far more magical than what you had perceived in your head before. Because you're going to kind of think, okay, this is one more battle. This is one more time of hardship, of pains, of disappointments. The emotions, they're going to come at me. They're going to hit me like a wrecking ball. I'm not going to be able to move forward. But really what's happening is your life is doing a 180. And you're calling on your power. You have innocence to you, but you also have maturity and wisdom. You also know that sometimes it's like you had to lose the world in order to gain it. And sometimes it is not pretty. But it is terribly, terribly powerful to become the ruler, the owner, the understander of your own destiny, and to not be waiting for somebody to rescue you. And that is something here that is very powerful and very personal to me, because I just remember when I was younger, I was like, oh, one day somebody will come and just like sweep you off your feet and you'll be rescued, right? And you learn that the way to truly be rescued within your life is to do it yourself. And it's not nice. It's not something you want to hear or you want to say. But with this Scorpio full moon, it's going to be something that's very powerful to you. And that also brings you a great compassion to yourself. Because, Jung said that as we move forward, everything that we are drawn to, every hardship that we have in our lives was set there to transform us, to move us forward, to have us embrace our own destinies. And that's what you're doing during this moon. Wisdom, transformation, you're going to see that you have a lot of messages from those who have passed or from your ancestral line. It can even be from past lives. And there is a beauty to you. And the Wheel of Fortune says that you're on a roller coaster ride, most definitely. Are you going to like it all the time? No. Is it necessary to be on? Yes. And it leads you to your life doing a 180, to you seeing the power and seeing the beauty of yourself and not expecting somebody else to pull you out of the muck and mire. As, much as you might not want to hear that, and as painful as it might be to a dream or to a heart's desire, it is actually going to be very strengthening, very empowering, very powerful for you. It really is. The Eight of Swords, doubts, fears, can I do it? Can't I do it? Am I moving forward in the right way? Six of Cups. I love that they have her in her wedding dress. Okay? And you have child, you have teenager, you have, mother. And a wedding dress to me symbolizes a change in your life. Especially in olden times where your whole world would change. More so than it ever would kind of from there on after. So here it is stepping into a new role in your life. And it's looking at your past also and seeing what is holding you back from stepping into the role that you want. It doesn't mean that you have to become a wife at all, or a husband or a partner or anything like that. It is you being married to yourself and you stepping into the role that you need in order to embrace the life that you want. Other people might not understand how you are evolving, what you need, what you desire. That's okay. They're on their journey, and their journey might be profoundly different than your own. But it's moving you to a balance and prosperity. It's also having you understand that people will have their hands out saying, Gemini, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. You're going to feel like I have to juggle it all. No. Make sure life is a symbiotic relationship. You give to those who also give back to you. It's not a tit for tat. But it's do not drain yourself dry, because you will have that tendency. And as you set boundaries, as you know where you stand, as you know what you like, you like and what you want from life, you start to surrender to the process of transformation, which has you literally being the Wheel of Fortune, going through different seasons of your existence, different powers of your soul, different, bounties of yourself. And as you do so, the world opens to you in a way you hadn't expected. What you once thought, I could never do that. I could never move forward this way. You start to see that you can. And it moves you to the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is like, you can see. You can see so much deeper than you ever thought you could. There is so much more to you than you ever expected. And as you see, and as you profoundly move forward, and as you embrace with divinity and with your angels, your spirit guides, with the essence of sacred power that makes you up, that lives inside of you, that gives you the ability to be present in your life and to sit there and to know and to seek and to wonder. This is also a time where you will feel tremendously drawn to sacred wisdom, sacred mysteries. Okay? Yeah, it's going to be powerful for you. The veil is going to be lifted from your eyes, either in a very big way, Gemini, or in a very small way. But either way, you're going to be seeing things more clearly as the world opens to you. And you're going to be seeing where you want to be. Because where you want to be is very, very different than where other people want to be. So do not let other people kind of start to define your path for you, because it's just not going to work. This leads you to looking at your future, to looking at your passion, and to balancing it as you move forward. Now let's see what your Moonology cards have to say. How will Gemini be affected by the May 2020 full moon? How will Gemini be affected by the May 2020 full moon? show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. All right. How will Gemini be affected by the May 2020 full moon? How will Gemini be affected by the May 2020 full moon? How will Gemini be affected by the May 2020 full moon? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so with the Page of Cups, okay, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. All right, this is also, because the full moon is in Scorpio, highly drawn to the Scorpio full moon, highly drawn to the energy of it. It brings you wisdom. It brings you wisdom that you haven't expected, and this is a time of discovery. Just like a child is always discovering, always learning, always achieving, always achieving, next levels, evolving. You are going to see yourself really embracing that mentality, that essence of self, and that power. It leads you to step out of your comfort zone with the North Node. It leads you to a place that you hadn't expected as you balance the scales, but also that you say, I need this harmony within my life. I cannot give and get nothing in return. That is not going to be something that you're even remotely interested in anymore, Gemini. You've really kind of set down what you want and said, this is where I need to be. This then leads you to creation. From standing your ground, from hardships, pains, disappointment, you start to create the world that you want, because you know so much more now than you ever did before, and you're drawn to the wisdom of it all. This leads you to the Gibbous Moon, which says you are close to achieving your goals, and you're close to seeing, you're close to achieving your goals as you're seeing the way the world can open to you, and the way the world will open to you, right? Just don't close the door on yourself. That is going to be the most important thing. This then leads you to beauty. As you embrace the Queen of Cups, as you connect with your heart, as your heart and your mind come together, if you see this beautiful face right here made from nature, the eye, the eyebrow, the lips, which I just saw the nose right here. I always thought these looked like lips, but I never saw her eyes, and that's gorgeous. Because you're going to see, by embracing the beauty of your own natural nature, you move forward in beauty and coolingness of your emotions, of the power of your heart self. Your mind and your heart are so deeply connected. I very much believe that we are emotional beings. And as emotional beings, we need to connect with our emotions, with our hearts. And so often we sit there and we say, oh, well, that's stupid. I shouldn't be feeling that. We negate our own emotional truth. And that leads us to a very vulnerable, angry, out of balance place. So here, connect with your emotional self. See how your emotions are affecting the way you think. Because they do. When you're in a really bad mood, or when something terrible has happened, or you're feeling sad and overwhelmed, you'll see that you start to think that people are angry at you when they're not, that people are speaking more harshly than they are. So our emotions impact so much of who we are and the way we perceive the world. And this leads you to the full moon in Aries. A fiery climax approaches. A fiery sense of what you want, of passion, of determination, approaches as you change your world. As you say, this is what I desire, this is what I want, and this is what I need from my life. As you go through the roller coaster ride and you embrace the beauty, you are focused. And sometimes you're going to be focused on doubts, fears, everything to keep you stuck, to keep you entangled in a web of hardship, pain, and disappointment. It is time to say, I claim my passion, my truth, my power, and I will not be held back. And knowing that there will be times where your mind focuses on the wrong things, and your mind wants to pull you down, just says you're not good enough, Gemini, and you never will be. And so when you have those thoughts, when you have the focusing on fear and degradation of self, step back and focus on the beautiful transformation that is awaiting you. Because this woman right here, she is not the woman trapped and ensnared. She's a woman of power, of beauty, and dignity. This then moves you to the new moon in Capricorn, where your hard work pays off. And you see yourself being able to transform to that next stage of life. And this leads you to stepping out of your comfort zone and being fiery, being fierce as you approach the climax of your existence. It doesn't mean that this is the only climax. This is the only crescendo of passion and power and what you've been working for, and everything's going to be downhill from now on. It means that this is a turning point for you, and it's something that you've been passionately and dedicatedly working towards. Fruition. You're bringing to fruition how you see the world. Okay? How you see yourself within it. In a positive way and a negative way. So be mindful of this. As you change what you are seeing, and as you change the way that you are interacting with the world. This leads you to the Disseminating Moon, which says take time to breathe out. You are going to be so encompassed by the intensity of it all with this moon, with your life, where you're going, what you're striving towards, that you're going to forget to really focus on your breath, to even just breathe out. I mean, I remember, have you ever been working so hard on something that you're holding your breath? And isn't that one of the things that the smartwatches do? They tell you, I've never had one, but they tell you to breathe. Because I remember I had a boss, and his smartwatch would tell him, breathe. And he was like, yeah, when I get really nervous, I just stop breathing. And then I thought about it, and I was like, oh, wow, that is something. Where you're just holding your breath, you're thinking. You're holding your breath because the veil is being lifted. You're thinking, you're looking, you're seeing, you're intensely focusing. Breathe out. Focus yourself. Look at what you desire, what you want. Don't just sit there and intensely focus on the tasks at hand. Focus on you in those tasks. What you need, what you desire, what is necessary to move forward. Breathe out. Release. Releasing is going to be so important to you. On so many different levels. Releasing what has been holding you back. Releasing what has been keeping you small. Releasing what has been keeping you stuck. Releasing the negativity that has become part of your narrative of yourself. And as you release, you come very close to achieving your goals as you step out of your comfort zone. Your subconscious message for this time from the Moonology cards is hold your vision. Hold to your vision of life. You might have to tweak it, yes. You might have to sit there and say, okay, well, this is unrealistic, and okay, I can't do that, and well, all right, I bit off more than I could chew. So you're tweaking it. You're tweaking it. You're being compassionate with yourself. But you're staying towards your goal. And you're holding to the vision of your life, of what you want from it. Don't give up on yourself. This then leads you to the Queen of the Moon cards, which is patient. Hold your vision and be patient. Because you're going to be stepping through that vortex. You're going to be stepping through that portal to something more, something greater. And then your subconscious message for this whole entire time is the Guardian, is Taurus energy. This is a time frame of April 20th to May 20th. This is power, dedication, truth. You have a repeat of the number 5, freedom, independence, but also things are going to be completed more quickly than you thought they could be as you move forward. And you're moving forward with dedication. You also have to stay true to yourself. And just as, I love this, just as we have the queen here, we have the child here. And that's why the child and the queen are together in your heart as you're moving forward. Stay true to yourself and stay true to your inner child. There's beauty to you that you're not seeing. And see it. See yourself for who you are, for somebody astoundingly magnificent, and embrace it. And this is also a time to really call on your traditions, on yourself, on what you desire, on what you need, on how you're moving forward. Now, don't change. All right, Gemini. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. Stay safe, have a blessed moon, and I love you all.